chapter 3. "She is called the Queen Mary," said Ebeline's father.
Oh,
"And
no.
you and your mom and I shall sail on her all the way to London." "Well, what about Grandma?" said Ebeline. "I will not go. I will stay." Edward, of course, was not listening. He found the talk around the dinner table excruciating dull. In fact, he made a point of not listening if he could help it at all. But then Ebeline did something unusual, something that forced him to pay attention. As the talk about the ship continued, Ebeline reached for Edward and took him from his chair and stood him on her lap. "And what about Edward?" she said, her voice high and uncertain. "What about him, darling?" said her mother. "Will Edward be sailing on the Queen Mary with us?"
No.
"Well, of course, if you wish, although you are getting a little old for such things as China rabbits." "Nonsense," said Ebeline's father. Who would protect Ebeline if Edward was not there? From the vantage point of Ebeline's lap, Edward could see the whole table spread out before him in a way that he never could when he was seated in his own chair. He looked upon the glittering array of silverware and glasses and plates. He saw the amused and condescending looks of Ebeline's parents, and then his eyes met Grandma's. She was looking at him in the way a hawk, hanging lazily in the air, might study a mouse on the ground. Perhaps a rabbit fur on Edward's ears and tail, and the whiskers on his nose had some dim memory of being hunted, for a shiver went through him. "Yes," said Grandma, without taking her eyes off Edward. "Who would watch over Ebeline if the rabbit were not there?" That night, when Ebeline asked, as she did every night, if there would be a story, Grandma said, "Tonight, lady, there will be a story." Ebeline sat up in bed. "I think that Edward needs to sit here with me too," she said, "so that he can hear the story." "I think that is best," said Grandma. "Yes, I think that the rabbit must hear the story too." Ebeline picked Edward up and sat him next to her in bed and arranged the covers around him. Then she said to Grandma, "We're ready." "So," said Grandma, she coughed. And so the story begins with a princess. "A beautiful princess?" Ebeline asked. "A very beautiful princess." "How beautiful?" "You must listen," said Grandma. "It is all in the story."